in the laboratory. What am I up to today? Folding laundry. Thought I'd bring you on a little laundry folding tour with me. So I have an opportunity to talk to everyone who's tuning in about the do's and don'ts of Thanksgiving Eve. So what the heck am I talking about? Well, bear with me as I get the camera situated. As you know, I'm never really ready for these live videos. I've got a concept, I have an idea, and it occurred to me, always talking about making Thanksgiving easy for yourself. If you haven't seen my 5-part How to Do Everything Thanksgiving series, check it out. I think there's some really good stuff there. There's some things there that will help you be successful as you're getting ready for Thanksgiving. If you're hosting Thanksgiving, hopefully today, you know, is the critical day. Today is the day where things need to happen. See this root ball? What happens when you wash, aprons in a home washing machine. This happens every time. I wonder if professionals, like the professional laundry services, have to deal with this. I don't know. I'd be curious to know. Anybody out there work at a professional laundry service? Please chime in, let me know. All right. So let's talk about Thanksgiving Eve. The preview to the most important part of Thanksgiving. You're hosting Thanksgiving. You've committed to having friends and family over. A lot of times I know it revolves around making sure the house is clean, the table's set. Have we gone to the liquor store and bought Uncle Mark's favorite IPAs? Have we decorated the house, which is important? I get it. But when you're doing the food, today, the day of Thanksgiving is not the day to discover that you are indeed not a professional chef. Because professional chefs, like myself, know to be ready days and even weeks in advance. So if you're grocery shopping today, it's too late. You're already behind the 8 ball. My coffee's delicious. I hope your coffee's delicious too. You're behind the 8 ball. Today is the busiest grocery store day in the nation. Avoid the grocery store on Thanksgiving Eve. If you're there right now, or if you're planning on going shopping, I feel sorry for you. I'm sorry, but you're gonna have a tough time. The lines are gonna be extremely long. You're gonna have trouble finding exactly the ingredients you're looking for. And if you're the kind of cook who's not very flexible when it comes to recipes, if you follow a recipe verbatim, you're really gonna have a hard time. If you're a more experienced cook who understands that a recipe is just a guideline, you're gonna get along with those lines a little bit easier. I find people who tell me like, hey, I'm a good cook, I can follow a recipe. That's not what cooking's about. Cooking's not about following a recipe. Cooking's about following the technique found within the recipe. And when you get to that point, that's when you're a good cook. Because anybody can follow directions. I'm not a good mechanic, but I'm discovering that I have quite a bit of mechanical acumen, mechanically inclined, because I can follow directions. And once I follow them once, I just apply myself over and over and over again. Okay. Apron day. I do aprons. I have enough aprons and towels that I can do 2 in-home cooking class and dinner parties where I give everybody an apron to wear before I need to launder them. So this is really every 2 weeks. A lot of times if people only wear an apron and chop one onion, when I collect their aprons, I just make sure they're clean, and I might use them again a second time before washing them. So what I'm just gonna do here is work on this root ball here. Okay. So some tips for Thanksgiving. What can you do today to make Thanksgiving easier tomorrow? Well, number 1, have your turkey ready. That means have your turkey thawed. Have it out of the packaging. Put it in the roasting pan. If you put mirepoix down, have your mirepoix cut. If you're brining it, have it in a brining bag. If you are smoking it, have it in the browning bag. If you are roasting it traditionally, put it on the mirepoix, have, your sage butter or your truffles or whatever seasoning you're using. Have it as ready to cook tomorrow as possible, whatever your method is. If you're deep frying, have your deep fry oil, your burner, your propane, make sure your propane's filled. If you're smoking, make sure you have pellets in the smoker for all you Traeger fans out there. Whatever it is, like I said, get as far into the prep as possible, just shy of sticking it in the oven. If you are roasting your oven, a traditional oven, which is honestly the way I like to do it, don't self-clean your oven today. Don't do it. Don't do it, because what happens is if you put it on self-clean, that oven temperature gets up into the 6, 7, 800 degree range. It can and will blow out your thermostat, and you're not going to get an appliance by tomorrow. I work for an appliance factory. We sell thousands of appliances every week, and I can't tell you how many times every single year today people are coming in 7:30, 8 o'clock at night with their pickup truck looking to buy a stove because they put it on preheat or self-clean and fried their oven. Happens every single year. We make it a point to advertise to not self-clean your oven, with the exception of maybe several weeks in advance. So it's too late for that. Self-clean is the worst feature on an oven. People think they want it, and I understand why they need to have it, but man, if you hate your oven, then go ahead and use self-clean. It is the worst feature. I just can't encourage people enough not to use that. All right, so you got your turkey ready. I have a friend of mine last year, she waited until Thanksgiving Day to do the turkey because she was delaying having to touch the turkey with her hands. I don't like touching raw turkey. I don't like touching raw chicken. And then get some rubber gloves. It's not too late to get some rubber gloves. I go to the restaurant supply store and I buy them by the box. There's 100 to a box. They come in different sizes. I like the latex powder, but any rubber glove will do. You can find these in smaller quantities at the grocery store. Put some gloves on. If you're really grossing you out, put 2 pairs of gloves on, or have somebody else do it for you. I was at a cooking class on last Friday, and the woman said, "If I have to touch raw chicken, I'm leaving." I'm like, well, okay. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I don't have cooking class people touch raw protein as a rule because it's too easy to cross-contaminate the entire kitchen. So that's fine. But I don't know. I guess I'm not that sensitive to it anymore. I suppose there was a time when I was new to culinary school, when I was 18, where the first time I had to touch raw chicken, it grossed me out a little bit. So I guess I can relate to that a little bit, but I've been doing it for so long that it doesn't even faze me anymore. It's like the first time you take a knife and put it through a live lobster's forehead and crack a live lobster in half. You kind of feel bad for the lobster, but after the 1000th lobster you cut, you don't think about it anymore. Same thing with mussels and clams, shellfish in general that you cook from live. You don't even think about it after a while. Anyways, turkey, ready. Do not self-clean your oven. Have your potatoes. Peel, cut, put in a pot with water. I say this all the time. Do that today. If you don't have enough room in your refrigerator, cover it with ice water and stick it outside. It's not a particularly cold day here in Denver, but it'll stay overnight. It won't freeze. Probably, I don't know, we're supposed to get snow. Put it in your garage. Garage is a good place. Some ice water. And then in the morning, replace that water. Put fresh water, spill out the old water. Top it off with fresh water. And then you're ready to go. Now you're starting the potatoes in cold water like you're supposed to do anyways, which works great. Next, cranberry. Have your cranberries made today. If you're making fresh cranberry sauce, or even if you're just opening a can, open that can today. Get it in the bowl, get it in whatever, but make the cranberry. I like to make ginger orange cranberry sauce, and it tastes better when it is made several days, not even today, several days, weeks in advance. Sometimes I even make that. I know we can't go back in time, but I would have made that several weeks ago. Stuffing. Again, have everything ready for the stuffing. You don't have to make it today, but have your vegetables cut, have your bread ready, have your seasoning packet. My tip for stuffing is I just use seasoned croutons, and I make some turkey stock. Gravy, have your turkey stock made. So when I have my turkey out of the package, I take the neck and the little hands and any of the bones and any of the fat and skin, throw that in a pot with some mirepoix, cold water, bring that to the simmer for 2 hours, strain, pull the fat off of it, reduce by half. I do that. I could, if I'm doing that today, I feel like I'm a little behind the 8 ball. But with that turkey stock, then I use that to make my gravy. I use that to make my stuffing. You can use it for all kinds of stuff. So that's just good, smart utilization of ingredients. Cut all your vegetables. Every single vegetable. If you're doing fresh green beans, cut off the tassels. If you're doing butternut squash, peel and cut. If you're doing, I don't know, I like to do Caesar salad a lot of times, cut my romaine. Have everything ready that you can cut. If you're doing a charcuterie, cut your cheeses and sausage. Do as much knife skills today as possible. And I would even argue that once again, we're behind the 8 ball. A lot of times, because this year, Thanksgiving's on a Thursday. So a lot of times what I like to do is do my prep several days in advance. Have things ready to go as soon as possible. So Monday, my shopping is done. Tuesday, I'm doing all my knife work, including oftentimes my turkey, because I want to have those bones to make my turkey stock. What I used to do when I worked in restaurants, I would do Thanksgiving for 1,000 people. 1,000 people. You know what I do? I would roast off a couple turkeys several days in advance, and then I would use that turkey meat and the bones, because turkeys are relatively inexpensive. I would make my gravy with the roasted turkey several days in advance. So I take the whole turkey, bones, meat, juices, mirepoix, and everything, put it in a big pot, make basically a giant roasted turkey stock, take my big industrial burr mixer, and I would blend all that together, bones and all, strain it a couple of times, add my flour, slurry, or roux, and I would make a 5-gallon bucket of gravy. I would make that far enough in advance, oftentimes, that I could freeze it too, so it was ready. The day before Thanksgiving, my walk-in would be so full, we literally had trouble closing the door. I remember the one year I went into work at midnight, to start roasting turkeys. That was a long day. Anyways, sharpen your knives. Are your knives sharp? How are you going to carve your turkey? Please don't use one of those electric knives. Those electric knives are a travesty to food. Use a good old-fashioned, sharp, regular chef knife. Use that to carve your turkey. And if you don't know how to carve a turkey properly, I would recommend checking out one of my videos. It does take some practice, but anybody can do it. If you have the ability to hold a knife, you have a large chef knife, a platter, these kind of things, you're going to do a great job. I know you are. I believe in you. Okay. So hopefully that helps give you an indication of what you can be doing today. My mother used to wake up at 4 in the morning to put the turkey in the oven, and I don't get that. I tell you, because you can roast a turkey in 4 hours at 350. Oh, I have one last tip on that. I'll come back to that though. So why is she waking up at 4 a.m. to put the turkey in the oven? Well, I realized people were waking up at 4 a.m. to get the food ready because, well, God bless your mom, but you're not a very good cook. I know she doesn't watch YouTube, so I can give her a hard time. And if you know Angie Kayla, don't rat me out, please, thank you. But anyways, It doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that long to cook. If it's 10, 12 people, even if you have 20 people, is that a lot of people? I guess, but roasting a turkey just does not take that long. I learned I'm going to Cleveland this year to visit my folks, which I'm really looking forward to. But I love hosting Thanksgiving. In the past, when I would host Thanksgiving, I would go do a turkey trot, like a 5K or an annual mountain bike ride with my buddies. We would, that would go till, let's say, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and then I'd get home and I would then start Thanksgiving around 10 a.m. with the indication that we're going to eat around 2. That'd be enough time. But the big thing was preheating the oven. So here's what I would do. I would do a couple things. I would take the turkey out of the refrigerator and let it start getting up to room temperature before I left. Just leave it on the counter. It's not going to go bad. This thing is cold. It's going to take a while, a couple hours at least, for it to slacken out and gain some heat, room temperature. 2 is I would preheat my oven, set my oven at. Even if I just preheated it a little bit, or I would ask somebody at home to turn it on. 9 a.m. turn the oven on for me. Preheat your oven to 450. Then put your turkey in the oven and immediately turn it down to 350. What happens is when you put that big turkey in the oven, it acts like a heat sink. It absorbs all of the heat out of the oven. So if you had a thermocouple, like a fancy thermometer with the wire, and you stuck it in your oven, you would watch the oven cavity go from 350, you'd probably drop to 340 because you had the door open, and then that big turkey would, boom, it would plummet to about 150. And then your oven spends the next hour to hour and a half fighting to get back up the temperature. So that's why a turkey could take 6 hours in the oven, is if you didn't preheat your oven properly. And yes, there are recipes that are no preheat and all that kind of stuff. And honestly, that's all gimmicks. You're going to get to the same place. You're going to cross the finish line regardless of how you roast your turkey. But my recommendation is preheat your oven to 450, stick your turkey in there, immediately turn down to 350, roast your turkey upside down, so breast down so that they don't burn. This is all in some of the videos that I have on my YouTube channel. And then, just kind of periodically check it after. I would give it 2 hours before I checked it. Open the door, check it. So, all right, everyone. It looks like no one tuned in because everybody's busy traveling, getting ready. But I'll post this up on the channel so that those tips will live in infinity. You know what I'm saying. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.